Alright folks, so today we're going to be doing something a little bit different on the channel. Today I wanted to share a video that I took in June 2019, and this is footage that I got from a trip to Funspot and the American Classic Arcade Museum in Laconia, New Hampshire, conveniently located only a 14-hour drive away. So with that in mind, my son and I made the trip, and this is what we saw. So we're actually going in on the third level, which is the American Classic Arcade Museum, and we just walked past on the left a couple of Bally Sente machines, and also a couple of cool light gun games from Exidy, and a 4-slot Neo Geo MVS. So a great start. Now off to the right is the main party room, you can see there, and also Crazy Taxi and Afterburner. We'll definitely take a closer look at those in a couple of minutes. But then moving into the main ACAM area, you've got a section here of Universal cabinets. So here you'll see games like Galaxy Wars, which wasn't working that day, Mr. Do, Cheeky Mouse, Ladybug, and Cosmic Alien. I thought this was really neat to see all of these machines together. I don't think I've ever seen them all in one place. And at the end of the row of Universal cabinets, you can see the main layout of the ACAM, so we'll get in there in a minute, but we're not actually done with the entryway yet. So right behind us, we actually have a few more cabinets. We have a Pulsar machine, and a really neat little presentation here for Cloak and Dagger. So that's got the 5200 cartridge and some promotional materials there. And then right next to that is the original Cloak and Dagger cabinet itself from Atari. Next to that we've got a Head-On from Gremlin from 1979. And then right next to that we've got the original arcade cabinet, Computer Space, from 1971. And this is something I'd never seen in person, so I was really interested to play this one, and it was in fantastic shape. And then rounding out the entryway to the ACAM is Exidy's Death Race from 1976. Again, really cool to see, one I've not seen in person before. So now we're done with the entryway, let's head into the ACAM proper and see what we've got going on in there. So the first thing you see walking into the ACAM is the 1986 Atari cabinet Super Sprint. This is the 3-player variation, and this is one I have very fond memories of playing as a kid. And again, in fantastic condition for his age. And then back off to the left, we've got something again that I've not seen in person before, and that's an original Atari Pong Doubles cabinet from 1973. That's very, very cool. So next we're going to start working our way down the wall, and this obviously is Pinball Row. So they have a fantastic selection of pinball machines, as you can see, from all of the major manufacturers. So the first one we've got is the 1980 Bally machine Xenon. Right next to that is Fireball 2, also from Bally in 1981. Then we've got Gottlieb's Devil's Dare from 1982. Williams Big Guns from 1987. One of my personal favorites, Pinbot, also from Williams, released in 1986. Williams High Speed, also from 1986. And another one from 1986, also from Williams, Grand Blizzard. Here's a bit of an older one. Here's Gorgar from 1979. And then we've got Williams Black Knight from 1980. And Black Knight 2000 from 1989. Got a whole bunch of Williams machines there all in a row. And we've got one that I've not seen before in person, which wasn't working that day, but this is Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man from Bally from 1982. And we've got Bally's Paragon from 1979. The classic 1978 Bally machine, Matahari. And then the 1979 Bally machine, Playboy. The next one up's iconic, and I don't think I went into an arcade in the 80s without seeing this one. This is Kiss Pinball from Bally in 1979. Then we've got Williams F-14 Tomcat from 1987. And then another classic Bally machine, the Harlem Globetrotters from 1979. Next up, Close Encounters of the Third Kind from Gottlieb in 1978. And then also from 1978, this is Joker Poker, also from Gottlieb. We've got another Bally machine. This is Sky Kings from 1974. And Gottlieb's Sky Jump, also from 1974. And we've got one of the oldest machines here. This is Gottlieb's Grand Slam from 1972. And Time 2000 from Atari in 1977. And right next to that we have Atari's Middle Earth, and this one was released in 1978. And then rounding out Pinball Row, we've got Sinbad, which is a Gottlieb machine from 1978 as well. Very cool. And you can already hear the music, so you know what's coming next. Right at the end of Pinball Row, we've got Super Hang-On, the iconic Super Hang-On from SEGA from 1987. One of my favourites. I have a lot of good memories playing this in the arcade as a kid. Then in the corner next to Super Hang-On, we've got Road Blasters, which again is another one of my favourite games that I used to love playing as a kid. The unusual thing about this one, aside from it being the sit-down cabinet, which is kind of rare, is this one's actually serial number 1. So incredibly rare, obviously one of a kind, the first one off the production run. Very, very cool to see and be able to play. So next up we've got Space Fury, which was from Gremlin and Sega in 1981. And then Buck Rogers' Planet of Zoom, also a Sega title from 1982. Right next to that we've got the classic Star Wars sit-down arcade from Atari in 1983. Again, played this a ton when I was a kid, so it was good to see this one again. I actually got robbed sitting in a Star Wars sit-down cabinet when I was younger, but that's a story for another day. My dad was not pleased that I lost all my tokens. Then we get into a couple of newer machines, so this is Cruis'n World from Midway. and Cruising USA, also from Midway, obviously, from 1994. Next, we've got the classic Sega machine Choplifter from 1985. And the Pole Position Sit Down from Atari from 1983.
Spend all your coins? Can you play? What? You play Gallagher? Yeah?
And then we've got the 1983 Atari TX1 3-screen sit down. I don't think I've ever seen one of these in person, so this was really cool to see. And you'll hear in the background me chatting with my son. I think he was a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of games that he could play. And right next to TX1 we got Pole Position 2, that's from Namco Atari in 1983. Again, another one I played as a kid, and a lot of good memories playing this one. And right next to that we've got Sega's Monaco GP from 1979. This one was in really nice shape.
Seriously.
And my son had an absolute blast on this one. I think he spent most of his tokens on this. And then we've got Turbo, also from Sega in 1981. Again, cabinets here are in fantastic shape. A lot of these I haven't seen for a long time.
Are you a little bit overwhelmed?
Here's one I'd never seen before. This was Fire Truck from Atari in 1978. First time I'd ever seen that. We did try and play it together, but we couldn't quite grasp the concept of it, so that one, it was really, really neat to see, but didn't play it too much.
On the Pac-Man machine, on Billy's machine.
Next up, we've got the iconic sit-down Bally Midway machine Spy Hunter from 1983. And then right next to that, we've got actually something that, from what I understand, is super rare, and I'd never actually seen one of these in person. This is the Star Trek Sega sit-down cabinet from 1983. And this one was in really, really nice shape. Very unusual. And you'll start hearing the music, so I'm sure you know what's coming next. But this one is Galaxian from Midway in 1981. Classic. And then Gallagher, also from 1981, another Midway machine. And right next to that, we've got Gallagher 88 from 1987. Haven't seen one of these in person for a long, long time. And then we've got Radical Radio, a game I've never seen before, so this one was new to me. It was quite fun to play. That one's from Nishibitsu and came out in 1982. Alright, so turning the corner, we've got Bally Midway's Max RPM. Next up is Star Castle from Cinematronics in 1980. And then we've got the classic Atari Asteroids from 1979. Next to that is one of my all-time favourite arcade machines. This is SCI Special Criminal Investigations from Taito in 1989. Absolutely loved this game, and I was really looking forward to playing it, but it wasn't working that day, unfortunately. Next up we've got Super Zaxxon, which is a Sega machine from 1984. Another classic. And then Elevator Action from Taito, which was released in 1983. Next we've got another early machine. This one's Robot Bowl from Exidy in 1977. And we've got actually a few Exidy machines in a row here, so. Next is Spectre from 1981. Bandito from 1980. And Venture from 1981. Then Mousetrap, also from 1981. And weirdly, a Data East machine sitting in between the Exidy machines. This is Speed Buggy from 1985. And then back to the Exidy machines, we've got Crash from 1979. And we've got a Nishibitsu machine. This is Frisky Tom from 1981. And then Iron Horse from Konami in 1986. The ever classic Kicks from Taito from 1981. Another classic, the Gauntlet 2-player cabinet from 1986. And another one of my favorites, although I played it all on the Amiga, Silkworm from Tecmo in 1988. And here's one I was really looking forward to play again in person on the actual cabinet. This was Dragon's Lair from Cinematronics in 1983. I will say I'm just as bad at it now as I was back in the day. Did have fun with it though. Next we've got Us vs. Them, which is from Millstar in 1984. Cliffhanger from Stern in 1983. And then Space Ace, the 1984 follow-up to Dragon's Lair. So that was really nice to see. Now turning the corner, we're basically going into Pac-Man Alley, so this wall is essentially all the Pac-Man machines. I think bar one that are in Funspot. So first off, we've got Miss Pac-Man from 1982. Junior Pac-Man from 1983. Classic Pac-Man from 1980. And I believe this is the machine that Billy Mitchell played and got the first ever perfect game. So this was really neat to see. I did have a couple of games on this. Next is Super Pac-Man from 1982. This one had a little bit of wear on it, so not quite as nice condition as the other ones, but still good to see. And then we've got Pac-Mania from 1987. And we've got another iconic game here. This is Raston by Taito from 1987. Kicker, which I'd never seen before. This one's a Konami cabinet from 1985. Pooyan from Stern from 1982. I know that one from Starcade. And then Rescue, also from Stern from 1982. And then rounding out the row, we've got Thief, which is from Pacific Novelty Company, and that one was released in 1981. So let's head back round towards Pinball Alley, and we'll start going up the other sides of the aisles. So obviously, again, you've got the Super Sprint machine that we looked at a couple of minutes ago. And then we've got a bunch of Atari machines, so this is the Atari aisle. So we're starting off with Warlords, which came out in 1980. Then we've got Crystal Castle, which came out in 1983. Then the iconic Star Wars stand-up from 1983. Right next to Star Wars is Asteroids Deluxe. That one came out in 1979. And we've got Gravatar from 1982. A lot of iconic machines. Next to that we've got Le Mans from 1976. So an older one there.
I'll get you on video if you want to play something.
And then here's my son, who was wandering around the arcade
Say hi, YouTube.
aimlessly trying to figure out what he wanted to play.
Play Paperboy.
Then we've got Paperboy from 1984. Another one I absolutely loved playing as a kid, but I'm terrible at it now. We've got Major Havoc from 1983.
This is ridiculous.
Space Duel from 1982. Quantum, also from 1982. And another one from 1982, Black Widow. And we've got the Battle Zone cabinet here. This one was really cool to see again. Again, haven't seen this for a long time. Very neat. And then right next to that is Destroyer from 1977. I've never seen this one in person, so that was kind of cool to see. And then we've got 720 from 1986. Dragon Spirit from 1987. Rolling Thunder from 1986. And then we've got the Final Lap 2-player cabinet from 1987. I don't think I'd ever seen the 2-player variation on that, so that was kind of cool to see. And we've got Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom from 1984. Marble Madness from 1984 as well. And we've got Roadrunner from 1985. And here we've got Zybots from 1987. And then coming up next is another one of my all-time favorites. This is APB from 1987. And then going around the corner, we're going to be seeing a lot of Capcom Data East and Konami machines. So right on the end here is Ikari Warriors, which obviously is an SNK game, but was released by Trade West, as you can see on the marquee there. That one's from 1986. Then we have Jailbreak from Konami from 1985. And Konami's Life Force, which was a Gradius spin-off. And that one was released in 1986. And we've got Forgotten Worlds. Absolutely loved this game on the Mega Drive. Then we've got Breakthrough from Data East in 1986. Kung Fu Master, also from Data East in 1984. got Commando, another Data East release from 1985. And then Tag Team Wrestling, which was a Technos Japan game, but was released by Data East in 1984. And then right next to that, we've got the original Pong cabinet from 1972. The monitor had been replaced in this one, but it was still functionable, so it's still kind of neat to see the actual cabinet itself. Next to Pong, we've got Canyon Bomber, which was an Atari release from 1978. Skydiver, also from Atari in 1978. Xevious from 1983. Depth Charge from 1977, that was a Gremlin cabinet. Millipede from 1982 from Atari. And then Food Fight, also from Atari in 1983. And we've got Atari's Kangaroo from 1982. The absolute classic that is Centipede, also from 1981 from Atari. And then my son's all-time favorite game, Dig Dug from Namco from 1982. Next to that, we've got Superbug from Atari from 1977. And then we've got the classic Missile Command from 1981, which unfortunately wasn't working that day. And then we've got Liberator, also from Atari from 1982. So there you can see the entryway again. So we'll go back up the same aisle, the other side. And first off, we've got Pac-Man Plus from 1982. And then this one's Crazy Climber from Nishibitsu from 1980. That one was kind of neat to play. Hadn't seen that one before. Next is Taito's Lunar Rescue from 1983. And then we've got Lock and Chase, also from Taito in 1981. Now this is the Taito aisle, so most of these are going to be from Taito or Nishibitsu. Then we've got Zookeeper from 1982. Frontline, also from 1982. And then we got Jungle Hunt from 1982. Next to that is Alpine Ski, and we had an absolute blast on this one. This one was from 1981. Then it's Moon Shuttle from Nishibitsu in 1981. Exarian, which I'm sure I'm pronouncing wrong, but that's from Jaleco, 1983. And then Space Dungeon from Taito, also in 1983. And on the end of this aisle, we've got Xenophobe from Bally in 1987. And then one I was disappointed wasn't working. We've actually got an original Space Harrier machine from 1985. So that was really cool. Again, I remember playing that as a kid. It's just a shame it wasn't working that day. And then we've got a classic shooting game, and I couldn't find too much information on this one, but I believe it's just called Bear. And then right behind that, we've got the 4-player quartet from Sega, released in 1986. The ever-popular Track and Field from Konami from 1983. Gyrus from 1983, also from Konami. Circus Charlie from 1984. Hypersports, also from 1984. We've got a Bally Midway machine here. This is Mappy. Everybody loves Mappy. Then we've got Williams Robotron 2084 from 1982. Joust 2 from 1986. Sinistar from 1983. Moon Patrol from 1982. Stargate from 1981. And then Defender, also from 1981. Okay, so moving on to the next aisle, we've got Gauntlet 2 back-to-back from Atari in 1986. And then the main event from Konami in 1988. Now this is one I hadn't seen before. It's Tetris from 1988, and that was put out by Sega. And we've got Mad Planets from Gottlieb in 1983. The classic Kroll from Atari, also in 1983. And Cubit's Cubes from Millstar from 1983. Gottlieb's Cubit from 1982, absolute classic. Konami's Pandora's Palace from 1984. Another arcade staple, Techno's Double Dragon from 1987. Then we've got Centuri's Pleiades, I guarantee I've butchered that name. Right next to Phoenix, also from Centuri, 1981. We've got Capcom's 1943 from 1987. And then Looping from Venture in 1982. One of my favorites, Alien Syndrome from Sega in 1987, which has a really cool marquee and cabinet topper there. And we've got Frogger from 1981, another classic, spent a lot of time on that one while we were here. Carnival from Sega in 1980. Crazy Kong from Falcon in 1981. The classic Donkey Kong knockoff. (1987's) Renegade from Taito. Love that game. And then we've got Red Alert from IREM from 1981. And then over in the corner here, we've got a Joust Cabaret from Williams from 1982. And then there's something I've not seen before in person. That's the Versus Hogan's Alley versus Duck Hunt double cabinet from Nintendo from 1984.
What do you play so far?
Next up is Congo Bongo from Sega from 1983. Zaxxon, also from Sega from 1982. Capcom's Black Tiger from 1987. We've got Flower from Claru from 1986. The absolute classic that is Chase HQ from Taito from 1988. Love this game. And then most people's favorite, Contra from Konami from 1987. And a game I spent a ton of time on as a kid. This is Wonder Boy from SEGA from 1986. And right next to that we've got Stern's Super Cobra from 1981. Stern's Frenzy from 1982. And another Stern cabinet, Astro Invader from 1980. And we've got Konami's The End from 1980. And more Stern machines. We've got Armored Car from 1981. And Berserk from 1980. And we've got Konami's Amadar from 1981. Strategy X, also from Konami in 1981. Tutankhamun from 1982. And then Taito's Hit the Ice from 1990. And here you can see we've got Smash TV, obviously. We'll come and look at that again in a minute. Then turning the corner and going back down the aisle, we've got Burger Time from Data East in 1982. With the iconic pizza pepper cutout on the side of the cabinet there. Then we've got Satan's Hollow from Bally Midway in 1982. Namco's Rally X from 1980. Midway Games Wizard of War, also from 1980. And then Wacko with its awesome looking cabinet, also from Bally Midway in 1983. And we've got Wheels 2. This is a Midway machine from 1975, so an older one there, something I'd not seen. Another one that I'd not seen. And we've got Jump Bug from Rockola, 1981, another one I know from Starcade. Gapless from Namco, 1984. Bank Panic from Bally Midway, also in 1984. Space Zap, also from Bally Midway from 1980. And we've got Lazarian from Zakaria, and that one's from 1981. Domino Man from Bally Midway in 1983. Seawolf from Midway in 1976. This cabinet was super cool. Take a look at the periscope here, so if we can get a shot. Then we've got the original Space Invaders from Taito from 1978. Another iconic cabinet here, we've got Tron from Bally Midway in 1982. Rampage, also from Bally Midway in 1986. And on the end here we've got the real Ghostbusters from Data East, and that one came out in 1987. And then we've got Atari's Tunnel Hunt from 1979. Right next to IREM's R-Type from 1987. Next we've got a few of the Nintendo cabinets, so they're all bunched together. That's kind of nice to see. So we've got Donkey Kong 3 from 1983. Donkey Kong 2 from 1981. Donkey Kong Jr. from 1982. And then this is the Donkey Kong machine that was the star of the King of Kong. So if you've seen that, you'll know what this machine is. The machine that Steve Wiebe and Billy Mitchell fought over. So that was really, really cool to see. Next up we've got Popeye from 1982. Dr. Mario from 1991. Versus Super Mario from 1986. And then the original Mario Brothers from 1983. And we've got a Play Choice 10, and those were made between 1986 and 1992. You see those all around when I was a kid. Haven't seen one for a while though. And then we've got the original Punch-Out cabinet. That one's from 1983. And then Tiger Road from Romstar. This one was from 1987. Orca's Espial from 1983. Tank 3 from 1985. This was an SNK cabinet. And then a game I absolutely adored on the Spectrum. This is Russian Attack, also known as Green Beret in the UK, from 1985 from Konami. Eta East Heavy Barrel from 1987. And another classic, Arkanoid from Taito and Romstar in 1986. Midway's Gunfight in 1975. And then a newer machine, this one's Sammy's Zombie Raid from 1995. We had a lot of fun with that one too. But this one I'd not seen before, so that was kind of cool. So now we'll head back out to the entryway where we came in. And we've already took a look at these, but again we've got all the Universal machines. So we've got 0 Hour from 1981. Mr. Do from 1982. Snapjack from 1981. Galaxy War from 1979. Cosmic Avenger from 1981. Nova 2001 from 1983. Cheeky Mouse from 1980. Cosmic Alien, also from 1980. And Ladybug from 1981. And then I thought this was really cool. They actually had a collection here of old Coleco machines, accessories and games. I believe this was donated to the ACAM. But it was nice to see all of these in one place. I never did have a Coleco Vision, so this was all new to me to see these, but they had a really nice selection of complete games there in the bottom, which was really cool. So now we're back into the entryway where we started off. We've got a classic Genco pinball machine I tried to research this to see if I could figure out how old it was, but I couldn't find too much information. Definitely an old one, though. It was good. And then we've got Hercules, which is the largest pinball machine in the world. So that was really cool to see, and it is absolutely massive. Getting back to a couple of games I really wanted to stop by and look at, and again did play a lot of while we were here. We've got Afterburner from 1987. This is a Sega cabinet, obviously, an absolute classic, and a lot harder than I remember. And then one of Sega's newer machines, it's Crazy Taxi, absolute classic. One of my all-time favorites, either on the Dreamcast or in the arcade. And again, spent a ton of time on this one while we were there. Just great to see it again in the arcade itself. So right next to Crazy Taxi, we've got Space Invaders Frenzy. This is a newer machine from Raw Thrills. It came out in 2017. So these are the ticket type machines. Same sort of stuff you would see in like Dave & Buster's. Neat, but definitely not classic. And then heading over to the other side of the room, we've got the classic arcade sit-down version of Outrun. It was really good to see this one again. I haven't seen one of these in a long time. Fully functioning. A lot of fun. And moving back round through, we've got some cabaret machines. So we have Atari's 4-player football cabaret. This one's from 1979. Then we have the Stratovox Cabaret. This one's from Taito in 1980. We've got Shootout from Data East in 1985. Cosmic Gorilla. That one's from Universal from 1979. And then Land, Sea and Air from Taito, which came out in 1986. Then in the corner they've got a nice display of Bally Sente items there. And also some write-ups from Retro Gamer, which I thought was kind of neat. Really interesting, showing a little bit more of the history of Funspot itself. So now we're going to move down to the second floor, and the first thing you see is the absolute gem of the Simpsons arcade machine from Konami in 1991. This we actually sat down and played all the way through from beginning to end, and we had an absolute blast with it. Next to that we've got the NBA Jam Tournament Edition from 1993 from Midway. Then we've got Off-Road from the Leland Corporation from 1989. Lethal Enforcers from Konami in 1992. And we've got Taito's Superman from 1988. Right next to Superman, we've got Batman from Atari from 1990. It's a classic 1989 Batman. Love that. And Moving around the corner, we got some claw machines, but then tucked away right next to them, we've got Terminator 2 Judgment Day from Midway in 1991. And then another newer machine, this one's from Play Mechanics. This is Terminator Salvation from 2010. And we've got Sega's Let's Go Jungle from 2006. More ticket machines, and then we've got Jurassic Park, and this one again is a newer machine from 2015 from Raw Thrills. And then right next to that we have the classic 1998 Star Wars trilogy from Sega. Cabinet has definitely had some use, it still worked just fine, but again it was good to see. So now we've got a couple more pinball machines for the second floor. So first off we've got Jokers from Williams in 1988. And then we've got one everybody knows, this is the Addams Family from Bally in 1992. We've got Cyclone from Williams in 1988. Funhouse from 1990, also from Williams. And then we've got Stern's Monopoly from 2001, so it's a bit of a newer one. And then rounding out the pinball machines, we've got Superman from Atari, all the way back from 1979. And then the other side of the room, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is a Raw Thrills version from 2018. I was kind of disappointed we didn't have the original Ninja Turtles to play, but that worked. Then next to Ninja Turtles, we've got Captain America and the Avengers from Data East. That one came out in 1991. Super popular back in the day. And then off in the corner we've got The Walking Dead, which again is another Raw Thrills machine from 2016. So finally we're going to head down to the first floor. And this was kind of neat. This is Shoot the Bear from Seaberg from 1947. And this one was actually on, I believe, American Restoration. And you couldn't actually play this one, but it was neat to see. Then we've got the original Mortal Kombat from 1992. Mortal Kombat 2 from 1993. And Mortal Kombat 3 from 1995. Great to see these all together, although this did make me realise I didn't see any Street Fighter machines at Funspot, which I thought was kind of odd, but we definitely had some fun playing the old Mortal Kombat machines. Then we've got this super impressive Daytona Championship USA 8-player setup, obviously from Sega from 2016, so that was really cool to see. Then heading down by the skee ball lanes, we've got a handful of slot machines. Then we've got the 4-player setup for NASCAR racing. This one's from Sega in 2000, where it's got the EA brand. And with that, that's everything that we saw while we were at Funspot in New Hampshire. I cannot recommend this arcade highly enough. We spent the entire day there from the minute they opened the doors until they kicked us out in the evening. Obviously for me it was a huge nostalgia trip, and it was an absolute blast from the past. I would say about 90% of the classics that I was hoping to see were there, and all of the machines were in fantastic shape, bar just a couple that were out of order. So thank you Funspot for an excellent day out, and if you're in the New Hampshire area, I would highly recommend you stopping by. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please drop us a like and also consider subscribing. It's really helping the channel grow. And also don't forget to check us out on Twitter. Thanks for watching.
Great face.